Hello and welcome to our special annual Media Week on location at the MCN Upfronts. I'm Ingrid Willinge, joined here by our co-host, as always, James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week. James, so tell us a bit about what today is all about.
Well, Ingrid, we come to the MCN house every year to do a special about their upfront. We've been down at the beach at Tamarama. We've been over on the north side of Sydney Harbour for a couple of years, and they've got a house now back in Sydney's eastern suburbs, Strickland House. 1850s or something this was built, so it's a great place. They bring all the 8 agencies in, they do one at a time, so they have something like 20 plus upfronts, so it's a big effort from MCN. They've got the property for like 6 weeks. Well,
it's a hot day for it, so let's go inside.
And now we're joined by Anthony Fitzgerald, Chief Executive. Welcome back, Anthony. It seems like yesterday we're at your last upfront, but that year's gone by quickly. Now, the MCN office changed significantly this year. Has that made you rethink the way you do your upfronts?
No, in fact, really what we've done when you take a look at this amazing house, the new MCN house, we've taken it up a notch, combining the original MCN offer with Foxtel and Channel 10 has increased the size of our business markedly. It's absolutely changed the television landscape in Australia forever, with more changes to come, no doubt, next year with the pending changes in legislation. So really, for us, the intimate sessions that we hold with our agencies, I think, are as valuable as they've ever been, and perhaps more so because our offer has changed quite significantly.
I saw you at the 10 upfront last week, so I know quite a few advertisers there at that, but I guess there's slightly different messages at their upfront and what you're doing?
Yes. The 10 upfront was principally focused around content. With us taking over the representation of 10, the core focus of 10's upfront was really about 2016's content roadmap and their schedule. And what we've done during the upfronts to date and over the next week and a half is really to bring the advertising offering together with the content to show our partners what we can do in 2016.
And that's, I'm guessing, probably, have you labelled it? Have you got a name? You like putting a name to your upfronts. What have you called them this year?
Yes, we are positioning MCN for 2016 as leading television in terms of our overall reach capability, but also in relation to our systems and our targeting capability through Landmark and Multiview. We think we've got a very strong leadership position going into 2016.
This merging of the sales forces of 10 and MCN, and we were talking about it for quite a while, so you've had a long time to think about it before it happened. That seems to have helped with the planning at all. Did it go as smoothly as it looked like it did?
It did go very smoothly, and I'm pretty confident that for our agency partners in all 5 markets around the country, that it was a seamless transition. Certainly from our perspective, we didn't miss a beat, we haven't lost any momentum. But we did have a long time to prepare for it, and we're now 12 or 13 weeks in since full cutover, and we're running well, and we've got good momentum coming into next year. So we feel like we're in a pretty good place.
Give us an insight into how you run it. I mean, is there one floor with all the MCN salespeople and another with all the 10 people, or do they sort of cross over and do a bit of both?
No, they're fully integrated. So we have one sales team across 10 and Foxtel, and indeed increasingly as we're integrating our online video offering, it's really, we're describing our business now as one world of television, free-to-air, subscription television and online video, and in every instance all of our people are selling all 3 of those components of our one world of television.
And how big a deal is it really for the buyers to be able to go to one place and get 40% of the market, I guess, from the one sales force?
Well, it's actually 45%, James. But that aside, look, I think it's an important development in the industry and increasingly around the world. And this has been the case for some time, which is why we felt that this deal was a good idea when we first couched it with Channel 10. Agencies and clients are looking for fewer, deeper, richer media partnerships that allow them to have fewer points of contact across all screens to deliver audience. And bringing 10 on board and getting 10 as quickly as possible onto our Landmark system with the same targeting capability as we have through Multiview I think is a real opportunity, a very powerful opportunity for the agencies and their advertisers as we move forward.
Do you have any further growth ambitions? I sort of asked that because I spoke to Grant Blackley not that long ago and said, look, could you ever envisage a day where MCN might, sell the 10 affiliate? And he said, well, we haven't been asked yet. So.
Right. Well, look, what I will say is that we always have growth ambitions, as you know, and we certainly have further growth ambitions moving into next year, particularly in our online video network. The ability to take our extensive partner content, which is all, of course, broadcast quality, brand safe content, and expand that out into a broader online video network is a real growth strategy of ours. When it comes to regional television, I think we've got to wait and see how that plays out.
And just for salespeople, do you sell everything that 10 has, or do they still look after some, maybe the naming rights or the big sponsorship packages?
No, we look after everything. We have taken over the sales operation entirely. Channel 10, of course, have an integration sales team within their organisation, like the rest of our partners do, to help us bring to life the big ideas that we develop cross-platform and integrated into their major 8 or 10 programs. But we have taken over the sales operation in its entirety, and we are 10's frontline sales team, as we are for the rest of our partners.
All right, we're now joined by Paul Brooks from Dentsu Aegis Network on the show today. Paul, great to have your company. How are you enjoying today?
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Other than the setting, it's been an amazing afternoon. We've seen some quite interesting sort of elements to what the guys are talking about for 2016. We've got good representation from all our agencies. So, yeah, it's hard to beat for a Thursday afternoon.
Exactly, not bad. Well, tell us a bit about your buying group and who you represent as well.
Yeah, so Dentsu Aegis Network, we look after and work with sort of Cara, Dentsu Mitchells and Visium. We represent around about $1.7 billion of scale in the marketplace in Australia. We look after, multiple of clients, in multiple markets. We're anywhere between number 1 and number 2 player in Australia. So.
And it might be hard work for MCN doing all these sort of one-on-one sessions, but do you appreciate sort of having that one-on-one time with the MCN guys?
Yeah, look, I think in a world now that is getting ever more complicated, I think trying to understand people's business, what the roadmap is, what their plan is, what their vision is for 2016, alignment to probably our business and our clients' business. I think, we need to spend quality time with people to understand exactly what the challenges are, what the opportunities are, and how we navigate those together.
And will you and the other buyers sort of find it easy to deal with Foxtel and 10 combined?
Easier. It's an interesting question. I don't know whether it's easier. I think what they've put together as a combined entity is an interesting thing. I think you've got scalable free-to-air television network, which has come together with MCN, which has built capability around data targeting, a programmatic offering, and all of those components. Of bringing those two together makes it quite compelling. So not necessarily easier, but I think very interesting for our clients.
But do you think it could lead to revenue loss for 7 and 9?
Could it lead to look? There's always that opportunity. I think with any there's a reason why companies consolidate, and that's to improve their commercial position within a market. I think they're well positioned to be able to do that. I think that they will put 7 and 9 under pressure, and I think it will put the onus on 7 and 9 to evolve their business to the extent of MCN have.
And in terms of spending sort of in the next year, do you expect to be investing in a similar amount to what you did with your clients this year as you did last year?
Yeah, look, we were, from a Dentsu Aegis perspective, we're part of a big global network, so we get pretty good intelligence around what's happening globally from significant markets across Asia, obviously the States, the UK and lots of parts of Europe. We've got a really good footprint and understanding and intelligence of what's happening in Australia. We're around about just under a quarter of the market. So we've got a pretty good steer on what we believe is going to happen in 2016. Admittedly, no crystal ball, but we believe there'll be some growth, albeit probably a little bit next year. And it's around where that growth goes, though.
Well, speaking of that, what sort of trends do you expect to be changing in sort of looking across digital, TV, radio, outdoor and print, basically?
If I was to fast forward 4 or 5 years, I don't think we'll be having these conversations. I think it'll be around advertising. I think it'll be around the deployment of advertising rather than channels. We've talked a lot about over the last few years around agnostic, convergent, and all of those components of our ecosystem. I think it's becoming more and more blurred. I think we've got digital which exists in every single business rather than channels. And I expect that next year will be a move forward, an evolution of that. So.
But in terms of the future of television, that's something that's talked about a lot. Do you expect to see sort of people having to try harder to engage audiences going forward? Do you worry about that?
Yeah, we do. You know, our job in many ways hasn't got any more complicated from an agency or agency group perspective. You know, one of the things that we're challenged with by clients is to navigate the landscape to help them reach consumers in the right consumers at the right place at the right time. Our job hasn't changed. The bit in between has got a whole lot more complicated, and how we do that is changing, and it will continue to evolve. It will get more complex. We just need to make sure that we've got the right people being able to do that better than anybody else.
All right, Paul Brooks, really appreciate your time today. And we are going to take a quick break on Media Week. We'll be back with the MCN Upfronts coming up next.